Hey guys, Sodor Railway Studios here, bringing you another episode in my Sonic Voice Actors series. And today we'll be looking at the big green detective himself, Vector the Crocodile. I said the crocodile. There we go. And thankfully this Vector is nothing like the Despicable Me character, which is something I really like about him. As well as his iconic dynamic with his colleagues SBO and Charmy. So today, I thought I might as well take a look at all his voices and give them all a review. But before we start, please remember that this is entirely my opinion. So if you disagree with any of my thoughts, then that's fine, but remember to be civil about it, okay? So without any further ado, let's get started. First up, we have Mark Biaggi, who voiced Vector in Sonic Heroes.
SBO? Do you think you can use that pole to go up? We can ride this current up. Just step back, boys, and let me blow a bubble. You can't have flowers without bees. Charmy, do your thing.
I've seen a lot of people say that Mark Biaggi is the best voice for Vector, and it's not hard to see why. Overall, I think he did a pretty good job. He sounds quite tough and serious, as well as somewhat gruff, which is fitting considering this is a crocodile he's voicing. But it's also not too gruff, which is something I like. I personally think that he was the best casting decision out of all the Chaotix members for Sonic Heroes, since I'm not too fond of SBO and Charmy's voices in that game, but we'll get to that when I review their voices. Overall, while not my favourite voice actor for Vector, Mark Biaggi still did an excellent job. He gets an 8.5 out of 10. Now on to James Carter Cathcart. And I have pretty mixed feelings about this voice.
Leave it to Charmy to take his own sweet time getting here. Your guess is as good as mine, SBO. I'm just as confused as you are. Did we travel through time somehow? Or space, maybe? What difference does it make? All that matters is we're stuck here. And since we're stuck here, we ought to concentrate on a bigger question. Why is half of the moon missing?
I mean, part of me wants to hate this voice, but then there's part of me that doesn't. I've come to the conclusion that Cathcart isn't terrible as Vector, but his performance in Sonic X is really questionable to me. Then again, it could be because of the voice direction he was given at that time. But I do have to say, he definitely improved by the time of Shadow the Hedgehog, even though the voice is still a bit too cartoony for my liking. Overall, James Carter Cathcart is my least favourite voice for Vector, but that doesn't mean he's bad. He gets a 6 out of 10. Up next, we have the one and only Dan Green.
That's me! The winner, hands down! How do you like them apples? Whoa! Guess you can't win them all.
I honestly think it's a shame that Dan Green only voiced Vector in Sonic Rivals 2 and Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, because he does a really good job in my opinion. I'd say he's better than James Carter Cathcart, but not quite as good as Mark Biaggi. But despite that, Dan does sound a bit too gruff in my opinion. But hey, it could have been worse. Besides, I still really love his voices for the characters he played, especially ones like Knuckles, Mephiles, and Storm. Overall, while not my favourite voice for the character, Dan Green still did a decent job as Vector. He gets an 8 out of 10. Finally, we have Vector's current voice actor, Keith Silverstein. And as the old saying goes, save the best till last.
I've had it up to here with robots and Eggman and all of it. Now where's my money? Thanks, Sonic. You know, I got a hunch someone or something is controlling that monster. In this modest, some would call tragically small hovel, I, Vector the Detector, will begin my investigation of the case of the missing hammer.
Honestly, Keith Silverstein is everything I could ask for when it comes to the perfect voice for Vector. He kind of sounds like a mixture of Mark Biaggi and James Carter Cathcart, which I think is an interesting approach. The other thing I like about Keith's portrayal is that it's not too gruff, which is something I really appreciate. I mean, just because Vector's a crocodile doesn't mean he has to sound gruff all the time. Then there's his chemistry with Roger Craig Smith during Vector's episode in Sonic Boom, which is just amazing. Hands down, Keith Silverstein is my favourite voice for Vector. I couldn't ask for a better portrayal of our favourite croc detective. Overall, Silverstein gets a 10 out of 10. And now comes the time where I try to find a potential movie voice for Vector. And my choice would have to be Seth Rogen. Yeah, that's kind of obvious, isn't it? Seth Rogen seems to play tough characters quite a lot when you think about it, such as when he voiced Donkey Kong in the Mario movie. And that's why I think he'd make a great Vector. Seriously, just imagine Vector laughing like Seth Rogen. I want this to be a thing so much. And that's about it for this video. As usual, I hope you enjoyed, and feel free to let me know in the comments which voice for Vector is your favourite. Do you agree with my thoughts, or do you have your own personal preference? Also, remember to like, comment and subscribe, and keep the notification bell on so you never miss a video. The next episode will focus on the first of Vector's 2 colleagues, SBO the Chameleon. So stay tuned for that when it comes out. Until then, I've been Sodor Railway Studios, you've been simply the best, and have a great day. Bye!